Hey folks, this is Matt Chat and this is my plywood canoe building adventure. It was supposed to be a cheap 2-week project, but instead it took a couple of months. I ended up building 2 canoes, built a canoe carrying dolly, a boat rack for my truck, and a hanging system for canoe storage. I made tons of mistakes and probably would have given up if it weren't for the money I had already spent. It became an amazing adventure, all for a canoe I wasn't sure I was going to use. Seems to me like the train knows when I want to record. It's unbelievable how many times I've recorded this with this train going on in the background. I'm so used to it, I don't hear it anymore. But it drives me nuts, this train going on, the horn. You know, for you guys when listening to me, it's probably like just blasting and blocking out most of what I'm saying. And I don't even realize it. Anyway, but... onto the show. Okay, so yesterday I used the air to blast away most of the dust from the sanding, and I left it alone at night because I wanted the dust to settle, and as it has all over the canoe and everything else, but now that it has, before I start doing any thinking of painting or anything, I'm just going to go over with a cloth and try to wipe off that last layer of dust. I don't want to use air again because that's just going to raise up all more dust in the garage. After this is done, I'm going to have to do a serious cleaning of the garage because there is a lot of dust everywhere. Everything is sort of white, you know, and you don't want to touch anything because he'll just coat you with a layer of dust. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, okay, so on with the cleaning of the canoe before we do the painting. Check this out, right here. It's unbelievable. I'm doing the brushing of the canoe, cleaning it off with the paper towel, and what do I find here? An unsanded drip. Look at it though. It is unbelievable. Look at it. Everything else around it completely sanded except for the drip. It's like it dripped after, which is impossible because the canoe's upside down. Just unbelievable. I don't want to use the sander to clean this off, so I'm just going to use a piece of sandpaper and see if I can't get rid of this fairly quickly by hand. Absolutely irritating. How did this thing survive? I mean, you've got to get rid of the shine. Absolutely must happen. And how did this thing, like I was looking at the wood when I did the sanding. I should have seen this. But it's not just that I should have seen it. I just don't even understand how the sander could have missed it. It's a big flat thing that goes everywhere. It's not like it can miss some part by, you know, like I'm just rolling around it. But obviously it did miss. The thing about sanding is, you know, you can get to this point where you have a result. It has sanded down like now. It's sanded down. But you can still see it. So you have to sort of keep at it to try to make it vanish more. But I'm balancing that with removing the epoxy that's there already on the wood. If I keep sanding, I'm just going to remove more epoxy. I'm satisfied that the drip is gone. So that's it. Let's move on. So the first coat is on. It's getting tacky, ready to put a second coat. I've had a lot of mishaps happen. The first one was the roller, the little screw, the nut that holds it all together, fell off, and then the whole thing fell apart, and it fell into the dust, and I had to throw it away, and it was covered with a lot of epoxy, so I've lost all that epoxy. That was very frustrating. And of course, how could it be loose? Right? That's the way I bought it. It should have come tight. So that means that when they sold the thing, they just quickly put that thing on and they didn't tighten it. Very good customer service. Anyway, what other things happened? I ran out 3 times with the epoxy, but that was expected. The roller, the foam roller, started losing its little foam bits into the epoxy. That was really fun to start to get out. I ran out of rollers, so I had to go out and buy some more. So now I'm going to go on and mix up some epoxy for the second coat. I used 17 squirts of epoxy to do the whole canoe. So I'm going to say that I wasted maybe 1 squirt. So I'm going to mix 8 and 8, and hopefully that'll do half and half. However, I'm feeling it won't. Let's find out. Let's get at it. Good morning. Well, it's the day after I put on the 3 coats of varnish of epoxy on my canoe. It has dried. It's good. I'm happy with it. Nice surface. A bit ripply, but to be expected. I did want to show you the wax buildup that's on the surface of the epoxy. You only see it the day after it's dried like this, and I'll have to set up the camera so that I can show you. You'll see a sheen. So just give me a second. I'll set up the camera for it. Well, there you are. If you take a look, you can see at the bottom panel what looks like a layer of dust on the canoe, but it's not dust. That's the wax coating. That's what is going to prevent you from putting on another layer of epoxy onto this surface, unless you do a lot of cleaning and some sanding. But I just wanted to show it to you so to confirm to you that it's actually happening. It took me a while to figure it out. What the heck is this? You know, it's pretty strange when I didn't put any dust on here. The place was clean. Why is there dust on my boat? But it's not dust. Anyway, if it was dust, it would be stuck to it. Anyways, now it's to turn the boat over and start working on the inside. So, today it's going to be sanding on the inside of the canoe. But I think that my policy today is, for the sanding, is going to be to get rid of the burrs and do a general get rid of the shine on whatever varnish is inside, but I'm not going to go crazy trying to do a smooth finish inside. I'm not as focused on that on the inside. I just want to make sure I don't get cut by some fiberglass that's sticking up or something like that. So I'm gonna, there's our train again. So I'm going to start working on that today, see how far I can get. Inevitably I'm getting anxious because the surface on the outside is ready to go in the water. So I'd really like to get it in there, but I'm not going to do that until I get the varnish covering all of the material, because obviously the top of the gunwales here are still free of varnish and would get totally damaged in the water. Anyway, let's get on to it. Water's a-waiting. Well, yesterday I was supposed to be painting the inside of my canoe, but unfortunately something happened. So I have a heart condition, and my heart started doing atrial fibrillation by itself for no reason, and I decided it was best if I went to the hospital, and I ended up staying. It was my second day. Excuse me. It took me this long to for my heart to get back down to normal. So at this point, I'm saddened that I haven't been able to build a canoe, but I'm happy that my heart is back to beating normally. But it has certainly once again caused a problem for my plans building my canoe. Yet another delay. So close to the end as well. But I thought I'd just give you a quick little video here to let you know what's been happening. Anyway, next video clip you'll see will be me working on the canoe in the garage. See you soon. Good morning. Yesterday I came back from the hospital and got back to work on my canoe. Yeah, so the hospital visit was a bit of a surprise for me. But anyways, on we go. One good news is that I've been taking off some beta blockers right now, so as a result of that I have much more energy because I've been working through this with fairly low energy, so the work I do per day is fairly limited. But now I can sort of go a little bit more gung-ho, I guess, for now. Anyways, yesterday I painted the inside of the canoe. And I gave it 2 coats because I was afraid of running out of product, and I figured the inside of the canoe wouldn't be as exposed to water as the outside. And it already had received 3 previous coats, which were sanded down, but nonetheless it already had some type of a base of epoxy in there. So I figured the 2 coats were sufficient, and it looks great. I'm quite satisfied with it. So today my next project is to build the partitions for the end of the canoe. So this is the area I'm talking about. I want to seal this off to create an air pocket at the end of the canoe, and I'll do that on both sides. And the idea behind that is that should I flip the canoe into the water, there will be these air pockets to help it float and not sink. I don't think it would sink anyways, being made of wood and whatnot, but this is just an extra step. And it's one of the final steps before I take it out to test it in the water. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this, however, so I'm going to have to give it a little bit of thinking to see how I'm going to figure out how to place these things, because these are pretty weird shapes. The other side is even worse because it's got wood coming through here. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. But let me figure it out and I'll get back to you. I went to the dollar store and I found these. Look at that. Straps for $3. I mean, and they're solid, very good mechanical construction, not plastic, metal, with huge metal hooks to grab onto at the ends. I couldn't resist them. I bought 3. And their purpose is to get connected to the dolly, and that's what's going to connect the dolly to the canoe itself once it's on. But as I worked on that, we decided to, my son Zach came down yesterday and he gave me a hand, and we were trying to figure out how to connect this to the dolly. Should I connect it permanently so the straps are always available, or how should I proceed? Along the way we came up with this idea of building a box to hold all the strap stuff that we had for the dolly right on the dolly. So that way we wouldn't be searching for these straps. So this is what we came up with. So you can see the wheels right over here, and this is the box that we built. I had this 2x2 that was the brace, this second brace for the dolly, and we just started from that. We installed the 2x4 right across because it's already the same dimensions. We didn't have to do any cutting, and just some old pine that I had sitting around, and we built a little box at the top like that we can open up, that little door, and it stores all the stuff that we need. all available in the dolly. A perfect addition to the dolly and a good way to complete it. And finally, we came to the decision of how we were going to connect the straps. You can see right here there's a bolt sunk into the 2x4, and there's bolts like that on the other side. And I've anticipated using 2 straps to hold the canoe. Possibly I'll only need 1. But I have these can be used to take the hook that we have here, and you can easily hook it on like that, and it becomes quite solid right away. So it satisfies everything, and when we're done with it, we put the ratchets out of the way, and it's all together. We don't have to worry about where it is. And it's better, I think, than tying the straps to the frame of the dolly permanently, because then they'd just be hanging and you'd be tripping them over them all over the place. So this was the best solution. Again, most of this didn't cost anything, so I'm quite happy with this project. That's going to be it for this part of my canoe building adventures. I want to thank you for joining in, and I want to remind you not to forget to subscribe to my channel. Hopefully we'll find a lot of progress in the next episode. See you soon.